What's up, everybody? It's Sam here from the Gambling Corner podcast. And before we get to your scheduled program, I'm here to tell you about Anchor. It's now easier than ever to start your own podcast. Their free app gives you everything you need to get your podcast off the ground. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or computer. And if you're worried about getting your podcast heard, don't worry. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. What's up, everybody? My name's Sam, and this is the Gambling Corner, brought to you by Fat Lad Sports. Today is Tuesday, March the 9th, and on today's show, we're going to break down Tuesday and Wednesday's football. We'll also be joined by star of the show, Mr. Liam Doe, to give his thoughts on the upcoming games. Alright, let's get him on. Here is Liam Doe.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
All good, mate. A lot better after last night.
Yeah, we fucking saved our skin a little bit, didn't we?
Just a little bit, mate.
Yeah. Hey ho, we'll try again.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's kind of slim pickings, isn't it, for Tuesday, Wednesday?
No, there's not much going on. Like I said last week, it'd probably be a bit of a shorter pod, and then you actually look into the games, and there's not much going on at all, really.
No, when I managed to find three things that I liked, one I really liked, and a couple just sort of I thought were all right.
Yeah, I've got similar to you. I've got a couple.
Yeah, so really and truly, on Tuesday, there's Dortmund, Seville, Juve, Porto, Blackburn, Swansea, QPR, Wickham, and then there's a full League One and League Two programme, isn't there? So if you want to crack on from there, because I have a little something for a Tuesday double, but that's about it. So,
are they Champions League games included?
There's one part of that double is in the Juventus game.
I reckon we'll just go through it all. As the pod's not going to be too long, we'll just go through it and say what we like as we go along, I reckon, this time.
Okay.
So, Dortmund, Sevilla being the first one I looked at. Dortmund are unbeaten in the Champions League at home, and last 5 home games in the league unbeaten. Sevilla let us down at the weekend, losing against Elche away.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'd prefer Dortmund in this game, just because Sevilla are the type of side that play more defensive, will kind of hit you on the break, but it's more like a little bit similar to Atletico Madrid in a way. They don't kind of play free-flowing football, kind of expansive football, whereas now they've conceded 3 at home, they need to come out and do that a little bit more. So I think it's going to play into Dortmund's hands.
Yeah.
And Dortmund aren't going to be one of those sides that, we won the away leg 3-2, so we'll just sit back, because they can't actually do that. They're defensive. They're not very good defensively. They're more of the side that you've scored 3, we'll score 4 kind of thing, aren't they? So I like more Dortmund. I think the way that Sevilla are going to have to come out and play and try to score goals, I think it will open up for Dortmund to score as well. I still think Dortmund will qualify. I think it'll play into their hands a little bit. And I like kind of over 2 goals in the game, which is almost a given with Dortmund. Like I said, I looked into the numbers with Sevilla, but it's a completely different game compared to their league record. Over 2 goals in the league. It's only happened 8 times out of 25, but this is completely different kind of kettle of fish, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've conceded 3 at home. They need to go away and score goals, so they're not going to be like they play in the league. Try keep a clean sheet, try keep it kind of tight. They need to go out and play, which, like I said, I think will play into Dortmund's hands. So Dortmund to qualify and over 2 goals was something I looked at 10 to 11. I like that price.
And
then if you do Dortmund to qualify over 2 goals, and then Dortmund double chance just in the game. That takes it up to 5-4.
Yeah.
So that's potential. That's just my kind of eye test and just the way I think it will kind of pan out. If Sevilla have to come out and play a different brand of football to what they usually do, I think it will kind of play into Dortmund's hands.
Well, I didn't really look into that because of the aggregate score.
Yeah.
I thought it was a tough one to handicap anyway because, you know, Seville need to score 3 away goals. You know, if Dortmund just grab 1,
yeah, exactly.
You know, to even take the tie to extra time. So, yeah, there wasn't a lot I liked in that. And then the other Champions League games, Juve, Porto, isn't it? I kind of went off. My double was kind of off your text last night about the Juventus to qualify.
Yeah.
So that was like my starting point.
Okay.
So Juventus to qualify were like 4-7, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 8-13 on Bet 365.
Yeah, so still pretty short odds for a team that are going in the tie behind.
Yeah.
I know they're obviously at home and they've got the away goal and stuff, which, you know, still balances it in their favour. Juventus can win 1-0 and go through.
Exactly.
But I was just looking through the other games, and I assumed that you'd done something for maybe League One or League Two because League One's sort of your area because you follow it.
Yeah.
So I just left that alone. So I went through the other games, and I came across Sparta Prague and Pribram, or however the fuck you say that.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So Pribram, I hope I'm saying it right. No win in 10. Right?
Yeah.
It's drawn 3 and lost 7. Their goal difference is -26. Their 2 league wins came in the space of 3 games in December. So just for Sparta Prague to win, the price is 1-7.
Okay.
But if you chucked them on the -1 handicap, that took the price down to 4-7. So if you add the 2 4-7s together, you get just over even money.
Nice.
I also had a look at the halftime result being Sparta Prague. That pushed it up a little bit further over evens. You know, stuff like that. So that was my thinking. But it was interesting. You know, that pre-Bram side have got 12 points all season, and 6 of them came in 3 games in the space of a fortnight. So
yeah, fair enough. That's something people can add definitely to boost it.
Yeah,
I can't say I looked into that game much, to be fair.
Well, I just I kind of just left alone League One because that's sort of your area. Obviously, as being an Ipswich fan, you see a lot more of that league than I would.
Yeah, that's fair enough. For the Juve Porto game, I had a little look into it as well. Obviously, I texted you last night saying I like Juve to qualify. At 8-13, you can lay a bit of money on it and you're going to get some money back, obviously, but it's not that magic even money that we kind of look towards.
No.
Just having a look into it a little bit more. Juve's last loss was actually against Porto in the other leg. They're unbeaten in their last 4, winning 3. They've only lost 2 at home this season. That was against Barcelona at home when Ronaldo was out for that one. And then the other one in the league against Fiorentina at home when they had a red card after 18 minutes. So they are very good at home. The only concern with Juve is I looked at the side the other day against Lazio and I was thinking, what is that back four?
Yeah.
So they've got quite a lot of injuries at the moment. They've got no Dybala going into this game. De Ligt is out as well and Danilo is suspended. And then Chiellini's a doubt, but is supposed to be back. So that was the only kind of concern for it. And then you look at Porto a little bit, and it's hard to kind of judge when they're in a league like they are. They've lost 1 away in the Champions League against City, first game of the groups, which was like 3-1 loss. And then like I said, looking into their league, it's a bit tougher. They're unbeaten in 16, which is obviously good, but it's hard to judge, especially when they're coming up against a team against Juventus.
Yeah, it's relative, isn't it?
So Juve to qualify was obviously 8-13. And then I looked at Mr. Knockout Man himself, Cristiano, who does love a knockout goal, doesn't he? So Juve to qualify and Ronaldo anytime was 23-20, which wasn't bad considering I didn't look into the stats for his knockout goals, but after the group stages, I think he's like 30 or 40 goals more than what Messi's got in the knockouts. That's where he seems to shine when it's a kind of big occasion, isn't it? Like that's how he's made his name. And then also looked into Juve qualifying and under 5 goals in the game, which was 10-11, which I liked as well. 29 out of 33 Juve games have been under 5, and 23 out of 29 Porto games have been under 5. And out of them kind of 6 games, a lot of those are kind of 4-1s at home and stuff like that, which I can't see them winning 4-1 against the Juventus side. So Juve to qualify under 5, Juve to qualify Ronaldo anytime, any kind of stuff like that pretty much takes it up to the even money which we look at. So there's just some ammunition there for people to fire on. I'm not sure which one I'll take a look at, but I do really fancy, even with the injuries, Juve to go through. Like you said, with the away goal, they can win this 1-0 and go through comfortably. So just some ammo there for some people. And then Championship, we've got Blackburn, Swansea, QPR, Wickham. So going into that one, I managed to find a pick at even money that I liked. I got QPR double chance and under 5 goals in that game, and Swansea double chance and under 5 in that game is actually even money together. Yeah. So just going into the stats for that one, Blackburn only 1 win and 8. Their under 5 goal record's 31 out of 35, so I'd like to think that one comes in fairly comfortably. Swansea are good away from home, their record being 8 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses. They've only lost 1 out of their last 5 away and only lost 2 in their last 14 altogether. And then for under 5 goals, their record's 32 out of 33. So I think the under comes in comfortably. More times than not, I'd like to put Swansea just as a straight pick to win. But when you can put something in like double chance and under the goals, I like that a lot more. Yeah, it gives you that cushion, doesn't it? And then you look into the QPR Wickham game. We've played against Wickham before in the past, and I'm more than happy to play against them again. QPR had a shocking start in the league, really, but they've only lost 3 in their last 12. They lost their last home game, but the previous 3 were all wins against Bournemouth, Brentford and Blackburn, which are all good wins. Better sides than what Wickham will be anyway. And then Wickham, at the moment, 12 points from safety, so I think you can say they're cut adrift now. 2 away wins all season, 1 win away from home in their last 12. They've lost their last 3 in a row as well, so they're just taking beatings wherever they go at the moment. And the under 5 goals for both of these, 30 times out of 33 for QPR and 31 times out of 34 in Wickham games. So, again, you could just go for a Swansea QPR double if you wanted to, but I'm looking for that magic kind of even money. And QPR double chance under 5, Swansea double chance under 5 comes out of that even money. So I was happy with that. Plus, you can take a 0-0 straight to the house, can't you? You're not bothered. Yeah, definitely. No. And then League One, like you said, I tried my best to look into it, but there are some rotten games this week. You usually look at the teams like your Sunderland, your Lincolns at the moment, Ipswich, Pompey, all these kind of teams you look at. Everyone's playing each other this week. So I noticed that as well. Peterborough versus Hull, which are the top 2. Pompey, Sunderland, both in the playoffs. Ipswich just outside the playoffs playing Lincoln. And the other games, they're teams that you don't really want to have a play on. I know Accrington are away at Bristol Rovers, but you look into that, Accrington's record hasn't been great. And then you get other kind of sides like Cheltenham versus Northampton at home. Northampton went and won 4-0 or 4-1 against Pompey at home at the weekend, so I don't really want to play against them. So the only kind of I found something, and it was actually in the Portsmouth-Sunderland game. I think there's a little bit of value with Sunderland, actually. Just because Pompey, as of late, just seems to be sliding slowly down the league. They've got no home wins in their last 5, lost their last 2 in a row, and only won 2 in their last 9 games. Whereas Sunderland, the complete opposite end, they're unbeaten in 11. They've only lost 1 away from home all season. So for Sunderland to go in at 9-5, I like that kind of by itself, really. That's quite good odds considering the stats that I've just said. But you could get Sunderland double chance at 1-2, which isn't bad at all. And then the double chance and under 4 goals I looked at is 20-23 at the moment, so just under that even money. So I looked at under the 4 goals in those Sunderland away games. It's happened 11 times out of 14, and Pompey home games it's happened 12 out of 17, and a lot of those were at the start of the season when they were putting a few past teams. Recently it's not been very good. Like I said, no home win in 5, so to get 20-23 odds on double chance Sunderland and under 4, I like that a fair bit. But other than that, there wasn't too much.
Well, where's he gone? Oh, looks like we've lost him. Looks like I'm not the only one who wants to marginalise Liam's time at the moment, as he was recording on his iPad or phone or whatever he was recording on. Gets a phone call, cuts us out. Fucking ingrates.
Back again.
There we go. As people know, we don't edit, so it's all going in.
There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I think I just finished off with the Pompey Sunderland, didn't I? And I went through some of the League One, and like I said, there's not much to go off other than that. So
no, I did have a small lean towards Bolton to beat Cambridge.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I went into League 2 actually instead of League 1 because there's potential there. So just to have a little look through, I like some of these kind of double chance. I don't know if I'm brave enough to pick these teams, but if I'm doing double chance, I kind of lean towards them, like you said with Bolton. So first one's kind of a lean towards Harrogate against Colchester. They've won their last 3 at home, and Colchester is more of a play against them. They've only won 1 in their last 16 and 1 away win all season. And then another one kind of lean towards Cheltenham away at Mansfield. Cheltenham obviously top of the table at the moment. Mansfield have only won 1 in 8, and Cheltenham have won their last 4 in a row. So going with that form side, top of the table, want to be extending that at the moment. And then Southend, Tranmere, lean towards kind of Tranmere away win again. It's more playing against Southend than anything. Southend 1 win in 10, and Tranmere have only lost 1 in 12. That was actually their last game. Before that, they were unbeaten in 11.
Yeah.
And then Bolton Cambridge, like you said, Bolton are actually in really good form. Their last 9 games have won 8 and drawn 1.
Yeah.
And Cambridge just can't really get a streak going together. So they at the moment it's win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1. And that's their last 5 results. So they won the last game. So hopefully this one ends up being a loss. But with those, it's just kind of potential ones, just the ones that I kind of lean to, being Harrogate, Cheltenham, Tranmere and Bolton. But I'm not going to be putting them in kind of an accumulator or anything like that. It's just there's potential there. If you put 3 of those in on the double chance market, that goes up to even money. So,
yeah,
like I said, there's not much really to go off this Tuesday or Wednesday, to be honest. So, with the Dortmund, Sevilla and Juve Porto, we've given a bit of ammo there. The championship games have gone over. League 1, it's a tricky one this week, so there's not much there. Then at least kind of League 2, we've given you a little bit of something that you could go off if you're desperate to put some more bets on, etc. And then after that, we go on to Wednesday, which which is tricky to say the least, I'd say.
Yeah, that's close to being even slimmer pickings, I think.
Yeah.
So we've got Liverpool and Leipzig, PSG and Barcelona, City Southampton, Barnsley Derby, Atletico Madrid, and Atletico Bilbao.
Yeah.
So I actually had a lean towards Leipzig, and now, as you mentioned earlier, it's more of a play against Liverpool.
Yeah.
And Leipzig's one defeat in 12 was their home game against Liverpool. They have 2 defeats in 22 games in all competitions. Leipzig, that was against Liverpool and Dortmund. The Dortmund loss coming on the 24th of November.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're 2-1. Well, they were 2-1 last night to win, which I thought was a decent price on its own. Or you could go into the double chance of 8-13. Although I don't think we'll see much of a double chance here because Leipzig have to go and win the game. A draw doesn't do them any favours.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like Liverpool to be able to defend and not concede.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Especially when you play against these big sides in form, you're thinking, I bet the one time I picked the other side against Liverpool, they'll turn up for the first time, etc. It's hard to kind of judge when they're going to get back to it. But at the moment, obviously six home losses in a row.
Yeah.
Leipzig have won their last 6 away. I looked at just Leipzig to qualify, being at 11-2. It's still It's still juicy, isn't it? Considering
that's not too bad actually.
Considering you look at the form table, you'd be betting it every time. It's just the mental side of having to play against Liverpool. Mm-hmm. And I know, like, you could have got away with it any time the last 6 at home in the Premier League. You would have won your money betting against Liverpool, but it's just one of those in your head. You're not sure when they're going to turn up. So it's a bit of a tricky one, but...
No, I half wonder whether away from the pressures of the Premier League and the scrutiny of it, that it might be then a more of a get-right spot for Liverpool and stop the rot and, that sort of mentality.
Well, they were struggling in the league when they went to Leipzig, and then they went and turned them over 2-0 away from home, giving out a
that's true.
So it's just it's one of those. There's money with Leipzig, and there's a lot of value with Leipzig, which I like considering the form.
Yeah.
But it's just that mental side of playing against Liverpool. It's just
Liverpool also made 7 changes to their team, didn't they, on Sunday?
Yeah, so they obviously had this in mind. The league's gone, isn't it? So they'll be still trying to get into top 4, but Champions League may be their main one this season, really, if you look at it. But to be honest, I don't see too many goals out of anything. So I can't see lots of goals. I can't see Liverpool knocking a few past them.
No.
So I had a little play on Liverpool in the game under 5 goals, both teams, and then going more into the City game in a little bit. I've got a handicap for Man City as well, just as a double, just under 5 goals in the Liverpool-Leipzig game, and then City -1.5, but I'll go on to that one in a second.
Yeah, I have a bet builder that I loved on City.
Okay, nice.
So we can go into that.
And then PSG-Barcelona. I'd love for miracles to happen and that 16-1 on Barcelona to happen, but unfortunately, I can't see it happening.
No.
We said previously on a podcast 3 or 4 pods back, don't bet on Barcelona in big games. And since then, they lost the Copa del Rey final, or the Spanish Super Cup final, I forget which one, and played PSG and got dicked by PSG. So it's something about these big games. I think it's more the fact when they play against players that can actually attack, they seem to struggle because defensively they are horrendous, and it's been proven time again recently in the Champions League.
Yeah. So
as much as I'd like Barcelona to qualify, I don't see it happening, and I can see why the bookies have got it 1-40 on for PSG to qualify.
Yeah.
I liked potentially just PSG to win the game, just because, like I said, those Barcelona big games, as well as they've been playing recently in the league, unbeaten in 14. Like I said, they play against decent players and they just can't defend. Every big side they've played this season, Real Madrid, Atletico in the league, they've lost both of those. Lost against PSG quite convincingly. So PSG being 5-4, I thought was quite good price anyway. And then if they manage to shut them up, similarly to what they did at the Camp Nou, you could have PSG double chance and under 5, which is 20-23 as well. So that's more me liking Barcelona and playing against Barcelona, because these big games, they just really seem to struggle in.
Yeah, well, I tend to agree with you. I potentially thought when I sat down last night and had a little look at it that maybe there was value on Barcelona to just win the game. Because they have to come out all guns blazing, don't they? They do, but then they potentially could get picked off on the break. It was, again, with it being such a disparity in the aggregate score, it made it much more difficult, I thought, to try and pick a side on or find some value. Personally speaking,
yeah, it's with these second legs, they're hard to find value. I think it's hard to predict, similar to the Dortmund game. I think there's value both sides, and there's a case for both sides, isn't there? But I think it's hard to find something, so that's why I don't think I'll be better on the game.
I was planning on leaving that one well alone, to be honest with you.
And then the next one's Man City Southampton that I looked into.
Well, do you want to? Should we leave that one to the end if we've both got something on it?
Yeah, can do. Yeah. I looked.
So
you go.
I looked at the Barnsley Derby game, and I again riding the hot hand as we did on Saturday. Yeah. This is Barnsley's game in hand on 5th and 7th. So they can get, if they win tomorrow night, against Derby, they can go to 60 points, and that would take them level with 5th place. So that gives them a little bit of a cushion in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Theoretically, seeing because Brentford don't play until Friday and Brentford are playing Blackburn on Friday, I thought it's kind of I don't see how it's like a letdown spot or a look ahead spot for Barnsley. I just think they just have to go all in every game because they're so you wouldn't have picked Barnsley to be in the playoffs at this stage of the season at the start of the year.
Definitely not.
So I find it strange. Not strange. I find it difficult to want to back against them at the minute when they are on such a good run. I just thought it made too much sense, especially at even money, just to win the game against the poor Derby side.
Yeah, well, even money's. If it was the other way round and Derby were in the playoffs and they're playing against Barnsley, would there be any chance that's even money? Never in a million years. That if this was the other way round, Derby were at home in the playoffs playing against the Barnsley side, I think a lot of them odds there are going to be people looking, Barnsley Derby, Wayne Rooney's Derby. They've been in the playoffs however many years in a row. Why are they that price? I'll put some money on them. If you're not kind of looking into it.
Yeah, I find it strange that they're still not a public side in the Championship.
No, well, that's what we said at the weekend when we looked into it a little bit more. Barnsley being in the playoffs is ridiculous. They're one of the relegation favourites at the start of the season, which they are every season in the Championship. So I still think there's money with them because of their name and people actually thinking, if you don't look at the table, they're down the bottom. I don't know why they're that price. But when you look at it, they're in one of the form sides in the league, them and Norwich, aren't they?
It's mental. And like I say, they're even. I just checked again there. They're still even money. Their price hasn't moved.
Honestly, if that's the other way round, Derby were at home and in the playoffs playing against a mid-table kind of Barnsley side, I think Derby would kind of be 1 to 2, maybe a bit larger, but
yeah, because everyone would chuck it in their accumulators.
exactly. So it's just because it's the other way round, and Derby are kind of a bigger name than what Barnsley are. It's kind of going against almost the form. If you just went on form, didn't look at the two clubs' size or anything like that, I think they've got the odds wrong there.
But when you watch things about, Derby on the other hand, they're 11 to 4. So, but when you little things like when you watch Gillette Soccer Saturday, all they're talking about is Bournemouth and Norwich and Watford. You know, the big sides that have been in the Premier League. And little old Barnsley are kind of forgotten about. And the longer that goes on, the better, I think, for us.
No, yeah. I don't think, like I said, I don't think they've got the odds wrong. Obviously, Barnsley should be favourites, but I'm just saying that they should be a lot shorter price going on form and how they're playing, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have liked it if they were 4 to 6.
Yeah, exactly. So getting it even money is brilliant.
Yeah.
Some of the other games for Wednesday, the only other one other than the City one that will go on, I looked at kind of Marseille Rennes, and Marseille were actually underdogs at home. So I looked into that a little bit, and I was thinking, bloody hell, why are they underdogs? No wins in 9 would be why they're underdogs. But I still think there's value with them, incredibly, with their no wins in 9.
Well, is that because Rennes are even worse?
Well, they're below them by a point in the league. Somehow they've come into favourites. I think it's more of because Marseille haven't won any in a long time. But Rennes have actually lost their last 4 in a row. They haven't won it in their last 7. I know Marseille haven't won in 9, but they've had 5 draws in that, including their last home game against Lyon was 1-1. So I think maybe a double chance play and then look towards the goals again would be quite a good price. So I looked at double chance Marseille and under 4 goals, which has happened 7 out of 7 times in the last Rennes games and 7 out of 9 times in the Marseille games. Double chance and under 4 goals, and that comes out at 8 to 11. So I still think there's quite a bit of value there just for that, to be honest. But other than that, I tried to look into Bilbao Atletico. Atletico seem to be falling a little bit. Maybe it's the pressure of obviously they played Madrid the other day, which is a tough game, but losing against Levante and all that kind of stuff, is the pressure kind of getting to them a little bit of being too far ahead almost?
Yeah, when I looked, I had a quick look at that, and this is Atletico's game in hand on Barcelona and Real Madrid. So potentially, if they win this, they'll be 6 points clear.
Yeah.
So I thought that would provide them with the motivation.
Yeah, definitely, it should do. But those kind of things with them slipping up at the moment, I didn't know whether to put them in or not. And I looked towards the cards, and there was no value in cards. Obviously, we've played on Bilbao before as a best bet because they love cards.
Yeah.
And even shoving cards in and even just going safe with a double chance Atletico, there wasn't much value there with it, so I didn't really look too much into it.
All right, well, we'll have a look at the City game then. And you crack on with your City handicap.
We weren't expecting them to lose 2-0 at Manchester United, who struggled at Crystal Palace away midweek last week. As said with my future bets, Man City unbeaten in the league. Not too sure that one's coming in now. I feel like I jinxed that one, definitely. The only kind of thing that you can go off on this would be Man City's bounce-back ability.
Yeah, well, that was what I underlined. I underlined bounce-back spot.
Man City obviously have the big enough squad to be able to change the 11 players from the other week, from the loss the other day, and still be able to beat Southampton fairly comfortably, I'd imagine. Southampton won in their last 10, obviously coming against Sheffield United the other day. Still didn't look too convincing in my opinion, but what can you do against Sheffield United? A win's a win. Going off the Man City kind of thing, last time they lost, They bounced back with a 5-0 win at home to Burnley. So, obviously no value in them just to win the game, being 2-11 or something silly like that. So I actually went for a handicap of -1.5. So you need them to win by 2, which I think is fairly comfortable. I think they're going to... It's similar to the Wolves game the other day when we had a bet on that. As soon as Wolves scored, City then immediately woke up and thought, right, you've scored against us, you've made us look a little bit silly. We're going to go score 2 or 3 now just to kind of rub it in. And I think they're going to take out their frustration against Southampton in midweek. So I put a handicap on that. I think winning by 2 goals should be fairly comfortable for them. So as a double, I went for Man City -1.5, and then the Liverpool Leipzig under 5 match goals, and that came out 0.83 to 1. So I didn't mind that for a double.
Yeah.
But that's about it from me on that one.
Well, I tried to do a bet builder that didn't affect the result. So I first of all, I put in the under 2 Man City cards like we have done for the last however long. You know, we all know the trends on that and blah, 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 blah. We don't need to say it again. So I then, like your -1.5 cap, I added in over 1 Man City goal. And then in a correlation with the cards, and I'll explain to you why in a second, over 0 cards for both teams. And this is because who the referee is, John Moss. And he, so far this season, has officiated 16 Premier League games. So he's handed out 40 yellow cards in those 16 games and 0 reds. So the average is 2.5 yellow cards per game. That took us to, I think it was 4-5 or 4-6, one or t'other. I forget, because if you wanted to add no red card, that took us up to 21-20. So I was trying to find something where you could just watch the game as opposed to thinking, oh, fuck, they scored again, they fucked us. And then City have scored 27 from 42 games of over 2 goals. 2 or over, should I say, sorry, which is 64% in all competitions. So I like the under for the obvious, the under cards for the obvious reasons. And then I like the overs for both teams because John Moss has chucked out 40 cards in 16 games. And the over 1 Man City goal, like you say, I fancy him to hammer Southampton. So that was just under even money, but then just over even money if you had no red card. Because John Moss has done 1 championship game and he pretty much followed the trend from the Premiership. He's done 1 championship game, which was 3 yellows, no reds.
Yeah.
So I quite like that. And then I can sit back and not particularly worry about the score, not worry about how many fucking throw-ins there are, goal kicks, any of that,
enough.
You know.
That sounds like a good bet.
Yeah, I like yours a bit better, I think.
There's not much in it, really, is there?
No, but I like yours a bit better.
I don't want to talk you out of any more of your winning bets. You're on a hot hand the last couple of weeks. You've been flying. But yeah, just to go on last week's results, for us, if you listen to the pod, we actually had a winning week. But because we try to pick five picks, don't we, really, that we prefer.
Yeah, because we like to whore ourselves out for you people.
Do our 5 main picks, and we went 2 and 3, but overall we actually went 5 and 4, didn't we? And then to touch on Monday, if you're up on the socials, follow the social page because we posted our winning slips from yesterday because it was actually a bettor's dream.
Yeah.
And some people might look at that and think, oh, well, you didn't post a six team accumulator that you thought was going to win, and I could have had some on that as well. If you actually listen to the podcast on that one, 4 out of those 6 games we actually covered. So the Chelsea game we said about, I had a pick on that and had Chelsea in the undergoals, which came in comfortably. I had a pick on the Inter game, which I said Inter double chance or Inter to win and over 0 goals for whatever, which came in comfortably. You spoke about the West Ham game, which was comfortable to say the least. And then you had Breeder, NAC Breeder, is it?
Yeah, we just about hung on to that, didn't we?
Just about. So 4 out of the 6 games I actually covered. I've got a good friend of mine from my football side who's Portuguese. So I messaged him during the day to say, oh, do you fancy Benfica? And he said, I'll have a look at the pitch, mate. Sent me a photo straight away after I said, oh, do you fancy Benfica? He sent me a photo straight away back saying, look at the pitch tonight. Under goals, definitely. And then I put in double chance Benfica, and then also just put Benfica in my accumulator that we posted. Then the only other game that we didn't actually speak about was Betis. And obviously having the time on my hands at the moment, I just kind of looked into the form. You could have just looked at the table. Benfica was 6th, Alvarez were 18th. And then you looked into the form. Betis were unbeaten in 6, and Alvarez lost their last 3 or whatever. So it was one of those. If you listen to the pod, you could have had a double or a quad. You could have just put their Monday picks in. And like I said, everything came in for us. So it was brilliant.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're getting there. It's just obviously we're 5 and 4 because we're still waiting for a cricket bet to start on Wednesday. So yeah, we might be 5 and 5. We might have been 6 and 4. So neither here nor there. Really.
We go through our picks. Obviously, you don't have to play with us. You can play against us if you want to. But it's more us just trying to give out ammunition. I've had a couple of mates send me slips looking at the double chances and under in games that we've said. We had one from young Jamie who bet on Leicester because we said the odds were wrong. So it's just more about us getting ammo. And if you listen to something and think, I like that, put that in your bet. You don't, just because we say, we probably won't bet it, but here's a trend or here's something and you like it, feel free to put it in. And definitely feel free to send us your slips. We're more than happy to post them on our socials.
Yeah, I would love people to send me their slips if they've won off of stuff that we've given out on the podcast. It'd be brilliant. Yeah. And then we are going to have something out Thursday lunchtime probably. A treat this week. Well, if you like the podcast anyway. If you don't like it, I don't know why you're listening. We got one today, obviously, for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we're actually going to have a look into the Europa League this week. Usually there's too much going on, so we don't bother. But we're into the round of 16 now, and there's actually some nice ties to look at. So probably a shortish pod on Thursday for the Europa League, especially. Well, we said this one's going to be short. It's 45 minutes already.
The other ones, it's not bad, is it? But yeah, we'll have probably under an hour, I'd say, for the Europa League. And then Friday, we're going to be obviously diving into the weekend. That'll be a little bit longer. But yeah, potentially, probably 3 pods for you this week. Happy days.
Yeah. Yeah, happy days. Right.
Thank you very much.
I'll see you later.
Good luck with your bets.
All right, mate.
See ya.
All right, guys. Plenty of ammunition there for you to make your bets for Tuesday and Wednesday. Talk to you on Thursday.
Thanks for watching. Bye.